But we're not going to do is we're not going to do like a tool demo of like how do you create automations and go from step A to step B to step C. That's a separate conversation. What we are going to do is we're going to understand like when you automate that one step, how do you get amazing results out of these large language models that really benefit you?
I want to dive straight into this topic that we're going to be talking about today because, man, it is a meaty subject. You and I actually set up separate calls to talk about this, and you were kind of running it by me at the time, and you're like, "Do you think this is valuable?" And my mind was exploding of like use cases that I could implement this into my own business. And look, I think that as Amazon sellers and just e-commerce in general experiences a lot of margin compression with inflation going up, right? You have tariffs going up. You have Amazon fees only continuing to go up, and Amazon penalizing you more and more for any overstocked inventory or understocked inventory. Like, it's just never ending in terms of the margin compression. So the most important thing that you need to focus on is like, how do I stay relevant as a brand for the next 5 to 10 years?
Mm-hmm.
And I think what you're going to be showing us today, Drew, is going to be something that people will be able to use and almost have like a professional like mentor that almost like sees it all in their back pocket to be able to bounce ideas off of, let alone being able to maybe reduce some overhead. And maybe you don't actually need to hire as many staff members as you have because you've got some AI tools and bots working on your behalf. So is that a fair enough segue into this, or why are we even going to be talking about this today?
Yeah, no, that's great. So today's discussion, all right, and we're going to share some content with you, and we've got some free goodies for everybody too. We're going to get into the technical side of like how these large language models work. We're going to specifically focus on ChatGPT. So if I say ChatGPT or large language model, that's the same thing, right? But we're not going to do is we're not going to do like a tool demo of like how do you create automations and go from step A to step B to step C. That's a separate conversation. What we are going to do is we're going to understand like when you automate that one step, how do you get amazing results out of these large language models that really benefit you? So we're going to take a manual approach because we're going to unpack all of this like complexity. And I'm going to give like your audience like a really clear structure around one, how do you think about these tools? And then two, how do you interact with them to create business tools, whatever those tools are going to be. We're going to get into that. So
I love that. Drew, this is going to be fantastic. You've got some slides that are prepared. So for our listeners, make sure you do come check us out on YouTube because you're going to want to see the slides that Drew breaks down. And again, there's special bonus. Those that listen all the way through here, Drew does have some free goodies. Like these templates that Drew is about to share with you guys are probably worth over $10,000 itself. Like I'm dead
really?
honest. I say
that. This then? Should I be charging for this?
You need to start charging more for this stuff.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Super valuable though. So come check it out. So Drew, I'll kind of turn it over to you if you want to share your screen and
sounds
let's
good.
dive into this thing.
Let's go for it. Let me know if you can see that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So we're going to be talking about harnessing large language models, right? Or ChatGPT. And as we kind of get into this, it's like, well, what does that even really mean? When you start thinking about these tools, these new AI tools that are out there, we describe it as prompt development, right? So when you're gonna work with ChatGPT, the default interaction is just a conversation that you have back and forth with the default model that ChatGPT provides. But ChatGPT gives you these really cool capabilities. You can build what they call custom GPTs. And inside those custom GPTs, you're actually going to instruct whatever that custom GPT is. You're going to instruct it to give it context. And the most interesting thing to me about, like programming or developing these custom GPTs is you're going to be doing it, but you're going to be doing it with the English language. Like that is the new programming language for these models. And that matters because as humans, we'll talk back and forth and we'll use language like, oh, you know what you should do is you should just go hire somebody and you should go create the job description and then you should go post that on Upwork, right, to get the thing. I use the word should. Should actually means like a suggestion because I'm being nice. I'm being I'm being informal with, whoever I'm talking to. ChatGPT will also treat that like you're being informal. So if you want ChatGPT to like do something, you need to say you will do this, not you should do this.
All right, Drew, as we wrap it up, I'd love to leave the audience with 3 actionable takeaways from every episode. So here are my 3 actionable takeaways from this one. Number 1, your most important job as the CEO and leader of a business is to be able to think strategically and critically. And being able to sit down, number 1 is like, can you carve out enough time in your day and in your week to do deep work? Because it is your job to cast the vision and the mission for your brand. And that's what everybody else on the team needs to be able to follow. So I want to challenge everybody to, Drew, I love that you have a strategy bot, right? And I would challenge everybody, like, create your own strategy bot, because that can be your, maybe copy and paste version of yourself that we all would love to clone ourselves if we could, right? That's the closest thing to it that you can kind of program that way. And that will allow you to think into the future, do the 10-80-10 principle. Action item number 2 is I would highly encourage each of you to take this podcast and send it to your team members, okay? Especially your leadership team. And I would have you challenge them to think through, hey, what is the biggest constraint that you face in your role? And how could we leverage the use of AI and a bot to help move you through those challenges more quickly, okay, to be able to level up your output. My third and final action item is, if you want to really take it up a notch, is do what Drew said and create your own bot that then you give to your team, a custom GPT that says, hey, use this. And as you walk through this, it's going to help walk you through mental models to help you identify what is your constraint in your role, to then be able to identify what type of bot you should be working on. So that's going to be the challenge for myself that I will be working on before I roll this out to my team. But I do believe that this is one of those things that, yes, it does require work up front. This is not an easy button solution, but I do believe that this is one that will pay dividends consistently, and your investment will compound month over month, year over year. Drew, anything else to say on that note?
No, I think, this is where the future is. So anybody who's like interested in invest in it, invest. The large language models themselves, there'll be some tech changes here in the next like 2, 3, 4, 5 years. People will start automating them and making it easier for them to interact with. But if you understand these fundamental principles, which you do through like these exercises, you're going to have a huge leg up in understanding like the inner workings of these models. That's what you're going to get from this. It's going to make your innovation even that much more innovative.
Love that. Drew, final 3 questions for you. What's been the most influential book that you've read, and why?
I'm reading Alex Hormozi's books, the 100 Million Offers and 100 Million Leads. Awesome book. If anybody is reading that, the offers book is by far, like, for econ people. Look, the leads one's interesting for like how you can use it with the customers and how to spike sales and things. But the offers one is the one that I think is really interesting, because Alex is so adamant about value, being value oriented. Value stacking is the phrase that he uses. The light bulb has gone off for us on this, and everywhere you're adding value with what it is that you're delivering, whether that's a product or a service, that book has been really, really, and he writes like a kindergartner. So like, you're going to understand like what he's talking about.
So Drew, on that note, how does an Amazon seller better enhance their offer on Amazon itself? What have been the ideas that have come to your mind that way through that?
Well, it turns out, we have a service for it. We literally have a service for listing optimization, which is a really boring term. Everyone thinks that that's creative work, and it is. Getting amazing, stunning visuals is super critical. But it's, we talked about this before the call. It's about dialing in those emotional connection points. Like, what are the emotional triggers that you can identify? And I think there's just a ton of sellers, US and non-US, that just miss the mark. They're really focused so much on facts and figures. That's the table stakes information, but like, how are you actually affecting someone's life? What problems are you actually solving? This unique selling proposition, super important, but like, how does it affect me as a buyer? Like, what are you helping me accomplish with your product? And that stuff gets ignored. They don't show up on listings, or the listings that do show up, they stand out. Like, sellers know it too.
Yep. Love that. Great takeaway. I 100% echo that as well. All right. Question number 2. What's your favorite AI tool or software tool, ChatGPT prompt that you've been
Can I say
using?
ChatGPT? Because we were just talking about that.
Sure.
Yeah, of course, ChatGPT is fantastic. It's amazing. There's a lot of discussion around DeepSeek and everything, but my take on the DeepSeek stuff is that it's the same tool as ChatGPT. Their infrastructure just happens to be less expensive to operate, but it's not a different service per se to the user. But a really cool tool that we're playing around with right now is called Gamma App. And there's a couple of different services like this, but it's like an auto presentation kind of like document creator. It's pretty badass. I was really impressed with that. But there's like 4 or 5 other ones that we're looking at. But that one's really exciting. What else? We're really starting to mess around with like image creation and doing things like that. We have someone on our team that really, images are way different than like what we were just talking about. But we've had someone who's like been really digging into that and trying to understand like how to control the images better. I think the bottom line is like, go use the tools. Don't try and do it directly with Midjourney or something, because it's so complicated to try and dial it in.
Yeah. What
But they're
other
great. They're great. I mean, they're just like, it's amazing what you can do.
yeah, I've heard of Gamma. Give me a couple other ones that you mentioned like we're looking into. Like what are some other like just exciting ones? We don't have to have like good use cases for them. Just throw out some interesting ones that have sparked your attention.
I'm into the automation side of it now. So like Make and Integromat's what we use. That's our main one. And it's because we inherited it before even ChatGPT came out. Like we didn't use Zapier, we used Make. So
Yes.
now Make's got APIs to go into ChatGPT. N8N is the next one that we're working with, which is another automation platform that integrates with the large language models. And then Taskade is the other one that I'm looking into. But I don't think we're going to pull away from Make. I think we're too embedded in there. But some of these other tools, they've got some really special use cases that we might split some of our projects out into some of these other platforms. But those tools are just like continue to evolve. The other ones like going back to Gamma, Gamma does like document creation. So document creation is pretty generic. It'll produce like slides, it'll produce PDFs, but it'll also produce sites, like actual websites. And it does it like in a really nice way that lets you integrate it. So like you can use Gamma, well, you can use ChatGPT to go produce marketing content. You can have it all spot on with voice and tone. You can then throw that into Gamma to go build a landing page for a special promotion you're running for some seasonal event. And that workflow, when you go play with it as an owner or something, or one of your like high-powered team members, you let them go figure that out. You can create like a system in like, we literally can create content that is like fully polished, on spot, brand, voice, the coloring, everything is like just really spot on. We can do it in like an hour. It's insane. It's insane. And then all we're left to do, the 10-80-10 rule, is we're left with like the 1 hour, 10-minute, 10% upfront. ChatGPT Gamma go do the heavy lifting, and then we do 10% of spit polish and make it perfect.
Ah, love that. Beautiful. All right, Drew, final question. Who is somebody that you admire or respect the most in the e-commerce space that other people should be following, and why?
Yeah, I mean, I follow a lot of this, like all the same things that like you do, right? Like you're like, honestly, Kevin King, Brandon Young, like we talked about. MDS is really great. But to be honest with you, like a lot, just because of the amount of time that we spend doing this, it's our clients. We learn so much from the brands that we work with. They want and look for experiments and new ways to try to like come up with creative ways to grow or use data to make insights to take action on those types of things. We've got brands that we work with that are smart, frankly. I'm going to call them challenging, but they're not challenging in a negative way. They're challenging in sort of like, how do we continue to stretch and innovate and grow and like push things further? And we learn a ton through those conversations.
Yeah, awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Drew, if people want to reach out to you, they want to learn more about you, how can they do that?
Yeah, actually, that's what that QR code was all about here. They can contact me here. They can reach out at hello@thinkvinculum.com. That goes to me. If you want to book an appointment with me and learn more about what we do or talk about some of your goals and challenges, we do free consults, so they can book some time there. Otherwise, you can check out our website and our YouTube channel, which is just about to start out.
All right, make sure you guys scan the QR code right here to get your free swipes. Awesome. Drew, this has been a pleasure. Thanks for joining us and creating custom slides just for us.
Sounds great. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you for listening. Visit ecommbreakthrough.com for more information. If you've enjoyed today's episode, the best way you can show your appreciation is by clicking the subscribe button and quickly leaving a review. See you again next time.